And like I said, I can't answer them all, so I'll do the best I can. I'm going to look at the folded one first. It's a secret. How do the changes at the federal level about what can be said from the pulpit affect UUCF? Okay, so this refers to the Johnson Amendment. For those of you who may or may not know what that is, the Johnson Amendment has traditionally been something that has prevented religious organizations from commenting on specific political candidates. So this is a question that actually gets asked a lot during election season. We are not supposed to, as a religious organization, and we are a 501c3 religious organization actually, we're not supposed to comment on specific candidates, but we can comment on any issue we want to, right? And we can do a certain amount of lobbying that we want to do. If the government were to bring suit, if we were doing all lobbying, they would be able to charge us on that, so to speak. Now, my understanding is that only 2 churches in the history of the Johnson Amendment have ever been charged. I think it's 2. And I think one of them was also as Episcopal in Pasadena. But recently, this ruling came out from, I think, the IRS, that, right, I've got my lawyers nodding their heads, that they want to free up religious organizations to be able to comment on political candidates. Well, many of us on the progressive left have talked about how the right has been doing this for a long time, and they've never been charged. So there was a discussion about that on the minister's Facebook page, the bastion of all ministerial knowledge. And it's really the place we all go to discuss things. And what came from that was, yes, sure, we could do that, but are those our values? And if they're not our values, then why would we change that now? And that's what I am subscribing to for myself. I'm not going to still comment on candidates. I'll talk about those who are in office as much as I damn well please, and do that. But, in this tradition, by the way, there's something called freedom of the pulpit and freedom of the pew. Within reason and respectfully, I can say whatever I want up here and not be supposedly controlled by the laity. And you can feel however you want and talk about that however you want and not be controlled. And believe me, I know we both do that. I do mine, you do you. But I will not talk about specific candidates, but I will absolutely talk still about issues, and we all should, and things that are going on in this world and those who are governing. So that's the answer to that question. Yeah. I'm sorry, I cannot read that one. Through my experience, human connection is the greatest power in the universe. How does I think being here, the human meets the divine and into this? Fit into this. How does the human meets the divine fit into this? I think what this is a question about is, I'll talk, whether this is the question or not, this is my answer. I'll talk about divinity for a minute. What's sacred, what's divine. We, as Unitarian Universalists, are a covenantal faith, not a dogmatic faith. What that means is, for those of you who haven't heard me say that before, is that you do not have to have a creed or a specific belief system to subscribe to being a Unitarian Universalist. However, we covenant together in our search for truth and meaning. We have values that we agree to. We have principles historically that we affirm to promote and covenant to promote and practice. So the thought about whether or not you can do or believe anything as a Unitarian Universalist, I don't subscribe to that. I believe that if you're practicing Unitarian Universalism, you will practice our values and our principles. Now, one of the things that has been a struggle for us, probably since the turn of the century, is this sense of what does that mean about those who believe in God and those who don't believe in God. That's an argument I've stopped having because it's not for me to decide or tell you what to believe in. It's for you to decide and understand what you believe in. But I do believe that there's something about the sacred nature of the universe, about what I still believe to be the soul in some ways, and about what is divine. And so I can't explain how we all got here. I can't explain how this was invented, right? I can't, I could explain how that was invented, but I can't explain that, and I'm okay with that. But there's something sacred about that for me. There's something divine about that, an understanding beyond ourselves, right? And so humanity is this sacred thing that I think we should cherish, as well as, the world and all beings and the beautiful nature that we have. Those are sacred things to cherish. And so when humanity meets the divine, I believe that the divine is something that should be cherished and is in some ways beyond our understanding. So I know a couple of you really have appreciated this. My sense of what God is, or that sort of sacred overarching power, is what's in us, what's between us, and what's beyond us. What's in us, what's between us, and what's beyond our understanding. So I have no idea whether I answered that question or not. Never mind. No, I'm just kidding. If Unitarian Universalism were to abruptly fall apart, which faith tradition would you recommend? Davidism. Yeah! Way to go! That's another David. I was talking about him, not me. Whatever one floats your boat. I mean, oh God, this is a heavy story. Let's see, should I tell it? I'll tell it. Okay, I'll tell it. In my previous congregation, someone came to us after being severely injured in an abusive relationship. And the first day she was there, she said, I'm going to join. And I went, hold on. Don't join yet. I wanted you to make sure that this is a place where you feel comfortable theologically and otherwise. And within a couple of weeks, she decided she didn't. And she told me she was going to go to the UCC church. And I was like, awesome. Go find what you need. And I continue to feel that way. It's like if Unitarian Universalism were to abruptly fall apart, not that it hasn't tried, I would absolutely suggest that you find the faith tradition that meets your needs. Now, the closest Christian faith tradition to us is probably United Church of Christ in the more liberal vein of United Church of Christ. The MCC is also Metropolitan Community Church, which is the LGBTQ church. And there's Buddhist traditions that a lot of folks subscribe to as Unitarian Universalists. Say again? Unity, certainly. And I come from the Jewish tradition, and there's lots of things in progressive Judaism that I see as similar as well. So I'm going to hope that doesn't happen. Certainly not while I'm still here. Okay. That's a lovely one. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Do you like that song? Yes, I do. How much would it cost to get more powerful video projectors? Mary, did you put this in here? Raul, this is your, now this is funny because he helped build this place when it was built. And I don't think we've changed the video projector since then, have we? Yeah. The focus groups, what a wonderful plug. The focus groups, Eric, I can see you. The focus groups that we are inviting you to, that came out, I sent an email out about that, is about the future of our capital needs. So if that's a priority for people, come and express your thoughts. And you don't have to sign up for those. And the first one starts, I was going to announce this anyway, on next Sunday, August 17th. I think in the Music and Arts Room, So you all don't have to come to that first one. There's 12, and there'll actually be more. No, not yet. No. Don't do that. No. This is a good one. Does the arc of justice still curve towards, it says upward. It's not quite the quote, but. Unitarian minister, thank you, Theodore Parker, thank you, Rebecca, Reverend Rebecca. Theodore Parker did a quote, which I won't remember. Do you remember the full quote? The arc of the universe bends towards justice. It's long and bends towards justice, which is not exactly his quote, but the reason it's famous is because Dr. Martin Luther King later on parroted that quote, and that became known as his quote. And Obama, did you say? Yes. But originally it was Theodore Parker, a Unitarian minister. And I do believe that it still bends towards justice, but it needs you to jump on it in order for it to bend. So what I mean by that is that although there are times in our history that have seemed hopeless and or without a clear future, I do believe that there always is. And I do believe that these are one of those times. That it may feel like despair and the lack of hope is omnipresent, and yet I do believe that it bends towards justice, and people who are authoritarian and fascist have always proven to be in jail at some point in time. So let's just pray that happens. And but not without our assistance. Our assistance is necessary for that arc to bend. It doesn't do it on its own. Oh my gosh. Can I go a little long? Is that okay if we stay a little longer? Okay. I love doing this. When are we going to get a new list of UU principles, and how many are there now? It's not like we're fickle. Come on. Last year at our General Assembly, we voted as an association to adopt our values as a primary source of Unitarian Universalist foundation. No one voted to get rid of the principles. The principles are still very present, and we utilize both the principles and our values here. There have been 7 principles since 1960-something, and in the past probably 8 years or so, There's been a movement to adopt an 8th principle, which is about equity and racial justice, which we've done here in this congregation with a lot of hard work by a lot of good people. And hundreds of congregations across the country have adopted that principle, the 8th principle. It's on our wall somewhere, out there, it's on our wall. And so the Unitarian Universalism Association has never voted to adopt that as in its entirety, but we've moved on to the values. So we have as many principles as we're going to have, as far as I know. Okay, let me look and see if there's a... Okay, no, I'm not going to answer that. Should we proselytize? Let me tell you the difference between proselytizing and what? Evangelizing. Thank you. Proselytizing is when you try to convert someone to your faith tradition. Evangelizing is when you tell the good news about your faith tradition without the necessary intent of conversion. Should we proselytize? I don't believe we should. Should we evangelize? You bet. I think we should, especially in these times. I think it's important for us to talk about the good news of Unitarian Universalism because we are a loving and an accepting. And if you look at our values of justice and equity and love at the center, people need to hear that. So please don't be afraid. It's not a traditional thing for Unitarian Universalists, but I think it's about time we do. Where's the line between locked and flew? How do we stand this? Okay. I really resent this. What is 3 times 6, parentheses 24, divided by 1,032, divided by 98 over 70? I was not very good at math. What are you looking forward to this congregational year? I think that's for me. And I have all these questions, and I'm not going to be able to answer them because I want to be respectful of our time. I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to this congregational year. So this congregational year is going to be busy as it ever is, in part because we are doing these focus groups and heading towards what we hope will be a capital funding project. And it also gives the congregation an opportunity to talk about our mission and the critical things that we need. We have not chosen a theme yet for this. I will tell you what I have chosen for me. We've been here, this is fully our 70th year, which we're going to do some more celebrating about in the coming year. And I believe that we need to make sure that we keep this place healthy for the next 70 years, right? And so in the hope to do that, this is going to be a year of reminding ourselves what's important, what's critical for our mission, and what we need to do to keep this place healthy for the next 70 years. And I will tell you that I refuse to give in to despair. And so we will continue to celebrate joy in this congregation, right? Giving into despair is what? It's complying in advance. And I refuse to do that because if we let that tear down our spirits, then we will be in trouble. Because that's in part what's happening is tried to bring us into, is breaking that down. Let's not let that happen. So we will have the joy service the first weekend in December. The worship committee's already working on that. We're trying to figure out what that's going to be. We will continue to sing together and laugh together. Soup's On will continue to meet on Thursday, third Thursday of every night. The third Thursday of every month. And I am looking for a few people to help me with that, set that up, and make sure that it happens, because usually it falls to the ministers. And we're going to find out more ways to connect with each other, too. Because what we've really seen is that people are desiring to find connection with each other. And that helps us bolster our spirits. And that's all I got time for. So thank you all so much. It's such a joy.